Hey guys, welcome to Cyberspace VR. Today we're talking about the Quest 2 and some reasons why you might not want to invest.
In our humble opinion, and we really try not to be very biased on this, we think that the Oculus Quest 2 is the new best headset on the market, especially for our circumstance and especially for the average American circumstance. It is the best for price, for value, for specs. It wins in a lot of categories. However, there might be some scenarios where it just really doesn't make sense for you, and we want to kind of cover those, right? Because a lot of people are really popping off. They're talking about how everything good, but we want to show some of the things that might make it not right for your situation. Or
Yeah, I would say the VR community is very polarized on this headset, right? It's like you either think it's the greatest thing or the worst thing.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some people in the middle. But I just want to talk about some of those concerns that people have. And I would say the number one concern that people have with this headset is the required Facebook login. Mm-hmm. If you're super concerned about privacy, if you do not want Facebook and the Zuck to have all your personal information, then honestly, like, you should stay 10 miles away from this headset, right?
Or make a fake Facebook account.
Right.
And that's a solution, but I guess we're not really... I mean, we could talk about solutions here, but
yeah,
I guess we're focusing on... Yeah,
right, but like that's also not really that great of an option because Facebook can delete your account.
If they find out it's
if they decide that they don't want you, that's a reason that they could delete your account. And Facebook has done sketchy stuff like that for a while. But in my opinion, I've only had good interactions with Facebook, really. Like, okay, they're serving me more targeted ads. Darn. It's showing me what I want. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But that's not my concern. And I recognize some people are very concerned about that.
It's true. We're trying to be empathetic here and realize, maybe these criteria don't apply to us, but maybe they apply to you. Yeah. So if you're concerned about your data and what people know and what people have about you, this headset requires for you to have an actual Facebook login. So maybe it's not the right way for you to go.
Yep.
So that's our first point.
Yep. And so if that's your concern, you should be going with the Valve Index. Steam is pretty good about not stealing your data.
Not caring about you.
So that's the first reason why you might not invest in this headset.
Yeah. Another reason is, so we did a whole series, and if you want, we'd love for you to check it out. Quest 2 versus. So the Quest 2 versus the Valve Index, Quest 2 versus the Rift S, Quest 2 versus X, like so every headset that is on
really
the market, competitive on the market. We compared it spec by spec. The Oculus Quest 2 won every single one of those videos. Spoiler alert. Like, it has very, very good specs. It's phenomenal. And if you want to learn why, go watch those videos. But just to be simple, like... I didn't get that. Oh, sorry, Siri. There was only 2 headsets that beat it in terms of spec, but it was only in specs, but it was only in one area. So the Valve Index was beaten by the Quest in everything in terms of specs besides... the
field of view.
So
and refresh rate.
And the refresh rate. So the refresh rate, for example, for the Valve Index was like 144 hertz. It's only 90, which is the industry standard, so it's not bad.
Yep.
For the Oculus Quest 2. So if that refresh rate and the field of view is very important for you, if that's literally like the most important thing for you, then the Valve Index would be the better option.
Right. And as well as field of view, right? This thing, I'm not sure what the specific things are, but the Valve Index has the best field of view on the market. Mm-hmm. No one's really close. So if you're all about refresh rate and field of view, so if you're really into competitive VR gaming,
that might be the way
to go.
Yeah. But keep in mind, like we said a couple times, the Quest beat it in terms of resolution and things like that, mobility. So keep that in mind. In terms of revolution, why do I keep saying revolution? In terms of resolution, the HP Reverb is actually the best headset on the market. It has, I think it's over 2,000. It's something like that.
Yeah.
It's
basically a 4K display.
Yeah, it's quite nice. So if that's the most important thing for you, then maybe you go with that as opposed to the Quest. But keep in mind, the Quest, in our view, beat it in pretty much every other category.
Right.
So to sum this section up of a con is there are better headsets in specific criteria than the Quest 2. And if those criteria are the top number one things on your list, then you should go with those.
Right. And that's just what you have to expect, right? This thing is priced and manufactured to meet like most people's needs. right? It's trying to get as much of the market as possible. Well, if you are outside that regular bell curve, you're on the very far end where you want the highest quality, perfect experience in one category, then you should really look into other headsets, because this isn't going to provide you with the best screen resolution or the best refresh rate.
It's dang good though.
It's
but
dang
it's not
good,
the
yeah.
best.
So, if that's a big hot button issue for you,
Yeah.
you maybe should look elsewhere.
Right, exactly. The next thing that we wanted to talk about, go ahead, is the controllers.
Is the controllers. Now, do we have a Rift S controller handy?
I will grab one.
Yeah. So this is the Quest 2 controller. If you look at it very closely, it's pretty, I love this thing. It's not that bad, but at the same time, it has some problems. So I'm a huge fan of Beat Saber. I've been playing Beat Saber since basically it came out, and I've been playing it religiously. I love that game. Now, this controller makes it really hard, right? It slips out a little bit because it's kind of stubby on this end, and it's got this big blocky edge right here. There needs to be something that my hand can catch on the bottom side so that it doesn't slip out, and this big wide spot on top. If they wanted this much space, they needed to have more buttons or something, because in reality, it's just too much. They're not the greatest controllers. When you compare them to their former generation, I loved these controllers, right? They're small enough that they fit in your hand comfortably. You can scoot your hand up on it very easily. If you watch our other videos, I talk about why, but I play Beat Saber with my hand wrapped through the controller like this, and that's really hard on this controller. It's just not, it doesn't work the same way. You have this giant disc that's in the way of your hand. And so that forces me to play like this, and so it falls out of my hand and it feels clunky and big. I don't like these controllers. They're not great, but they're fine. They do the job. Yeah. I love the Quest 2, and I'm willing to ignore this for the Quest 2's capabilities.
For the price you pay for it too. For example, if controllers is really the number one thing on your list when you're buying a VR headset, which I don't think it is for really anybody. It's important, but it's not the number one. You'd go with the Valve Index, because those controllers are sweet. These, for the price, you're only paying $300. They're not going to be the best, but they're good. They're sweet. They're good enough. Might be a couple issues there, but and keep in mind, remember, we think the Oculus Quest 2 is pretty much the best headset on the market, but we're trying to show you, depending on what your most valuable criteria are, we're going to try and show you why this might not be the right fit. But we think that it's the right fit for pretty much most of America. But again, if it's a bell curve and you're on one of the two ends, it might not be the right. But if you're pretty much in the middle with most things, this is probably the best headset for you. So let's go on to our next one. What else were we going to talk about? We had a couple.
Basically, the
comfort?
Yeah, the comfort thing is a big one. So this headset is designed to be light and portable, right? It's designed to be standalone, so you can take it to the park or wherever. Actually, you're not supposed to use it outside. But
are you really?
Yeah. You can take it to your friend's house or whatever. And so this strap is light and simple, and I'll be honest, it's not comfortable. I don't like it. I prefer the Halo design, where the pressure's all on the top of your head and the back, and then the headset just kind of rests on your face, as opposed to this, where the pressure has to be on your face to stay on. I don't like that. It's not my favorite way. They have the Elite strap, and that's on its way for us. And so we'll do an in-depth review on that, on if you need it or not. But as of right now, this isn't the most comfortable VR experience.
Yeah. So there you go. If comfort is important to you, what would you say is the most comfortable headset on the market? The Rift S is really comfortable.
Sincerely, I believe the Rift S is the most comfortable headset.
That one is dang comfortable. Let us know in the comments, though, if you see it differently, because maybe the Valve Index is more comfortable to you, and we'd love to hear about it. But they I think they definitely, because it's a $300 headset, they sacrificed some things there. They put a lot of their money into the quality of the experience, but digitally, the virtual experience, but not quite as much into the comfort. So if that's a big criteria for you, maybe not the best headset for you. Maybe not the right fit. One thing that I thought was big as well is mobility. This is the best, the most mobile headset on the market. But maybe that does not apply to you. Maybe you have your VR lounge in your house, you have everything set up, and it's hooked to your PC, and you never take it out, and it never moves. If that's the case for you, then forget everything that we've ever said about mobility, because it doesn't matter.
Yep.
But mobility, I think, matters to most people. So this, I think, like most people want to show off their VR. They want to take it to their friend's house. They want to take it out and have fun with it, move it around and things. And this is the most portable mobile headset on the market. So that's awesome. But maybe it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter to you, who cares?
Yep.
So
I would still, even though, like, even if you don't care about mobility, I wouldn't discount it, right? Like, you might use it more than you think. So just keep that in the
option.
Yep. Once you have the option, you might use it, and you might realize that you really like it. You might want to watch Netflix in your bed without being tethered to your computer and having that running. And this is perfect for that. So
versatility is always a good thing.
Right. It's like the Swiss Army knife of VR headsets. So
that's a good point.
But I think those are some valid concerns that a lot of people have, right?
Yeah.
The Steam integration isn't great either.
Yeah.
Oculus, you have to have Oculus on your computer, and then you have to have Steam, and then you have to like merge the two. And for some people like me, it's really not that big of a deal. But if you're not that tech savvy,
it can be like my wife, for example. We have the same issue with the Rift S going from Steam to the Oculus store. And yesterday she was having some friends over doing it, helping them. But I was in class, so I couldn't help.
Yep.
And it was quite stressful for her to figure that out. And some games they weren't even able to play.
Yep.
So that was kind of a bummer for them.
And that's pretty standard. Like, if you're not tech savvy, VR is kind of hard.
Yeah.
But if you, even if that's your problem, you can just buy the games directly in the Oculus store, and then
no problem.
It works perfectly.
Because in terms of being tech savvy, this is probably the headset where you have to be the least tech savvy.
Right.
Unless you're buying games from two different stores, the Steam store and the Oculus store, and then the integration's a little funky.
Yep.
But if not, like, it's a super simple headset.
Yeah, totally.
So there's that.
Yep.
So I think that puts us at about, 6 or 7.
There's one more thing I'd like to mention.
I think that puts us at 7.
That's the color.
Oh, yes.
I
like the color.
Yeah.
But white is bad.
I've used this thing a few times, like quite a bit for a week. But that being said, it's only been a week. But there's already I know you can't see this, but there's already gross marks on it,
Let's
right?
see. We'll get it close just in case they can.
Yeah.
I don't think you will, but we'll get it in close here.
And that's from laying in my bed.
Oh, you can totally see that. Yeah.
Watching VR.
Yeah.
So and that's after a week. So after a year, this thing is gonna look nasty.
Yeah.
And then you can try and clean it, but I don't want to have to clean my headset like that. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
But our Rift S, we've had for probably a year now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks brand new.
It looks brand new. But this thing, after a year, is going to look gross.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed about that.
And this is coming from the guy right here that's wearing a completely white hat that I bought yesterday because I thought it looked sweet. I love white. I love the color. I think it's a really sweet look. But I know, within 6 months, this hat's going to look nasty and I'm going to have to bleach it. You can't bleach your headset, really.
No.
So there's that.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
There you go. Those are 7 reasons why the Oculus Quest might not be a good fit for you. We think it's the best headset on the market for the general population. This headset is bridging the gap to get VR in pretty much everybody's home, to make it accessible for the normal run-of-the-mill family, individual, things like that. But there are definitely scenarios where it's probably not the right fit, and these are 7 that we came up with. If there's other reasons that you think, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what your insights are.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our review. I guess subscribe, like it. Again, leave us a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But anyway, we'll see you next time.
See ya.